Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This week we have Parsha Bo. Put yourself in this week's Parsha. You have the first seven plagues last week. We have the continuing 3 plagues this week. We have this culminating pressure, this build-up. The Jews are in slavery in Egypt. We have this power building up, up until this climax point. We're just waiting for the final one, where basically the death of the firstborn is going to happen. And we're here, we're just about at that climax perspective. And then what happens? God then tells Moses, he says, "This month shall be to you the head of the months. To you it shall be the first of the months of the year." What happened here? It seems like God is ruining a good story. We have a good groove, a good narrative going. We have, a build-up in what's happening, and yet it seems totally disjointed. It seems totally out of character. Where did this come from? What is a commandment for a new moon, which is the first commandment to corporate Israel? Where does this commandment fit in the middle of a narrative? It seems like a very strange place to do it. There's a number of ideas for that. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch interprets this verses to say that basically it refers to the newness. The newness is what is emphasized here. Rosh Chodesh is the new moon. Chadesh, it's new. He translates HaChodesh Chazeh, not as this month, but the renewal of this month. So in other words, it is not the new moon, but it is the newness which is emphasized here. And indeed, this is what the emphasis is. And I think that the point is emphasized by another commentator, the Sfat Emes, is as follows. Is that the Jews, our purpose, our goal, it's often compared to many things, but compared to the moon. It waxes and wanes, and the entire purpose of the new moon, how the new moon happened, was that this was determined by the Jews themselves. If you were a witness, you would go to the Sanhedrin, the high court, and you would determine and say, this is when the new moon happens, and if there were witnesses, then that's how the new moon. It was created, so to speak, by the Jew, that they were in a certain way in charge of their own destiny. Or should I say that they were the ones entrusted with that power, so to speak. And so the point I think here is obvious, is that it would be very easy to ride off the coattails of Egypt, to ride off the coattails of the Exodus, and to say that, God is my, so to speak, sugar daddy. He's the one who's going to be there all the time for me. And I think that this is not indicating that that's not the case. That it doesn't mean that God isn't always there, but it simply means that, in a sense, that the Jews are the ones responsible for creating that on, that God will protect them, God will ensure they will not be destroyed, that covenant stands forever. But rather, that's not at issue. The issue is simply that if you want to be creating your destiny, if you want to be creating a tomorrow for yourself, for your family, for the Jewish people, you have to be creating that new moon for yourself. And so that's what the Sfas Emes is saying. He's saying that newness is created by the Jews themselves because they have to be the witnesses to it. And just at the darkest part of the moon is just when it waxes and wanes, just before, when it's waning, it will wax, and when it's very small, it's going to get right big again. And that's the idea that he's trying to get across, is that ultimately that just as with the new moon, the Jews were in control, and it'd be very easy for us to rely and to ride on the coattails of the Exodus to say that, I can just sit on my laurels, it's all going to be taken care of. But he's saying it's quite the opposite, that what I need to be doing is recognizing that, God is there and he's not going to let the Jewish people get destroyed, but the point is that our mission to be that light unto nations, to take that light of God and to use it to refract, to use it to reflect to the nations and to the world around us, to be that Or L'Goyim. Ultimately, God is going to provide the light, but no one is going to reflect the light but us. So ultimately, that's our responsibility alone. So that's it for Parsha Bo. Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom, God bless.